Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, visiting Sparks Toyota, and I'm checking out a 2019 Toyota all-new RAV4. Now this one is in the XLE premium trim level with a few upgrades. This RAV4 is sitting on 235/55 Yokohama tires, wrapped around 19-inch alloy wheels with a satin chrome. Look fantastic. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors in the front and solid in the back. The name of this color is Silver Sky Metallic. And silver is one of my favorite colors, just all arounder good color. So all the black here in the front is a matte black, except for the emblem. It's a gloss surface there. Now it does have the radar adaptive cruise control behind this emblem. You also have some sensors on there's a camera and some sensors there next to the rearview mirror, and this is for lane tracing and road departure alert with steering assist. It can read stop signs and different road signs. That's pretty cool. So I actually have a test drive video you can check out if you want to go in a little bit more detail on that, on how it works. So the headlights are powered by LEDs. So it has 3 reflector LEDs. The outer 2 is your low beams, and then the center portion lights up for your high beams as well. It also has you can check out my night video. I show all this stuff at night, showing what the pattern is and all that. Then you have a standard bulb for your turn signal and halogen reflector fog lights as well. You also have parking sensors across the front. Now the outer 2 are hidden because they match the color, and then the other ones are hidden in here because they match the black in the center. Okay, so looking at the profile, man, those wheels really look good on this. They're just a really nice wheel. The sheen, the color, the size, everything about them just looks great. So let me know what you think in the comments of the wheels or different things that you like or dislike about this vehicle. Okay, so looking at the profile, the upper portion of the side mirror and the handles are all body colored. And then you have the pillars, which are blacked out here in the center, kind of solidifying the glass. You have some gloss black roof rails up there. The base of the vehicle right in here is a matte black. It kind of protects underneath the doors. It also has some around the wheel wells and around the front, but you notice there's a little space here. Not sure what's going on there, but that's part of the styling. This is what the key looks like. It's a proximity key system designed so you can just keep it in your pocket and use the vehicle 100%. So it does have some useful buttons here, lock and unlock. The ability to open up the power liftgate, that's handy, and your panic button. There's also a physical key on the inside in case you need it. You can take that out. Let's go ahead and push this panic button. So it has a kind of a beepy horn. So as long as you have this key with you, it can be in your pocket, in a bag, as long as it's within a close proximity of the outside of the door, you can lock the door by placing your finger or hand over this sensor right here, indicated by these 2 lines. It will sense your finger, it'll sense the key within a close proximity of the door, and lock the door. So now the doors are locked. To unlock them, you simply put your hand behind the handle. It senses your key and also your hand position there, and allows you access. You also have a physical key location here for the driver's side only. Okay, so these doors go all the way to the bottom. So I don't know if you can see that. There's a seal across the bottom, and when you close it, it seals up. So you can see that door going all the way to the bottom. This keeps debris and dirt from getting in the threshold door jamb area and possibly getting your clothes dirty when you're entering and exiting the vehicle. So I think that's a great idea. Okay, so the inside of the door, mostly hard touch plastics. You do have some soft touch right here, and it's not very soft at all. It's very, bottoms out quickly, but it is a soft touch, kind of like a vinyl Softex type material. The rest of the door almost completely is a hard touch. Right in here though is a rubbery grip. So this wasn't on the base model. The base model had a hard plastic here, but this is a rubber grip, which feels nice. And then you have the metallic accent around the handle, and it matches the handle. That's nice. And the pockets at the bottom. Then you have this symbol, I guess this little pattern here, kind of reminds me of the Walmart logo, but it has like a pattern there. I think it looks pretty cool though. In the speaker grill. Manually adjusted seats here for the passenger, and these are Softex, like a synthetic leather. Has some contrast stitching here as well. And one of the benefits of Softex, one thing, it holds up really well. It's easy to maintain, and it's 40% lighter. So those are some of the benefits over leather. Okay, so this is your floorboard, and there's no floor mat in place, but there's no place to hook one in. So it just kind of lays in there. You see a little bit of tapering going on up there, but overall it looks pretty good. So the dash, so this portion up here is like a Nerf type material. It's soft. This is soft, but it's a different type of material. More like a vinyl type with the stitching. Then you have this pocket right here, similar to a Highlander, and that has this long pocket. It goes in there quite a ways. It's a good spot to put your cell phone or whatever, and it's easy to access. It's right in front of you. Glove compartment has smooth plastic on the inside, and it's pretty large. Inside of the rear door is very similar to the front. It has the soft touch surface around your arm, and not very soft. And then, but right in here is the hard plastic, so it's no longer rubber in there. There's a bottle holder at the bottom. So the back seats are basically a bench seat, and they fold down to add to your cargo space when needed. You have an armrest with cup holders here that you can move out of the way. Have the latch system for car seats. So here on the passenger side seat, on the back of the passenger side only, it has a pocket for putting some stuff. There's a significant hump back here, and it has 2 USB ports and your climate control vents back here as well. It's supposed to be 5 USB ports. I think that's what it is, but we'll check it out. There's 2 back here anyway. Okay, so looking at the back, you see it has those gloss roof rails there, and then a little shark fin antenna, body colored. Now right under here is your third brake light, powered by LEDs right in the rear spoiler. Does have a rear wiper as well. Now the tail lights are basically a combination of LED and standard bulbs. You can check out my night video if you'd like to see that in more detail. And the backup camera, which I'm kind of surprised, but it is offset quite a bit, so it's way over here. So it'd be better if it was in the middle, but I'm not sure why they did that, but there it is. Parking sensors across the back, and those are well hidden in the black here, so you can see them possibly right there and there. And then you have 2 exhaust tips, chrome exhaust tips. Power liftgate. You can open it up, just push a button under here, or you can use the key. And it lifts up for you. Okay, so this one has the shade. Let's go ahead and move that out of the way. Okay, so if you have all the seats occupied with passengers, this is your cargo space, which I think is great. It's fantastic back here. You have a single light, so that's one thing I point out in the night video. The lighting on the interior is a little lacking, but then you have a little storage pocket there with a little retainer piece that can be removed in case you need to utilize more of that space. 12-volt power supply back here as well. Then you have some tie downs. And check it out, JBL subwoofer back here. So this has the upgraded sound system. That shade is removable, and there's a place to put it under here. So this floor lifts up, so it doesn't snap in place. It just kind of just rests there. And so there's a place, this cover pops up, and you can put the shade across here to that side. And it has a full diameter spare tire with your tools there. And this cover has double-sided, so this is a more durable side, and then you have the carpeted side. You can also take it, of course you can flip it back and get it out of your way. You can take it all the way out, so we can take that sucker right on out if we want. Or put it back in position. So now we can just take it and pull it, let it drop right there. Now push it back in, and then drop it this portion here. So now we have a lower load floor. So if we need a little bit of height or a little bit extra space, it also kind of creates like this cubby effect, so things aren't moving around so much. So that's pretty cool. Now you can't do that if you have the shade stowed away, but I thought that was pretty neat. Okay, so folding these seats down, it's a 60-40 split, so you can fold down one or the other and add to your cargo space while still maintaining passenger space if you needed. Or you can open it all the way up, fold them both down, and have a large cargo space back here. Okay, so lowering the lift gate, has this button right here, and this is another thing I point out in the night video that's not illuminated, so you kind of have to know right where it is. And it comes right on down. It comes down slow, gives you plenty of time to get out of the way. It has a locking fuel door, and it's here on the driver's side, which is nice. Has a traditional cap, tether, and a place to hang the cap right here on the inside of the door. Okay, so let's go ahead and start it up. I got my foot on the brake, I got the key inside the vehicle, and I push this button. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. Now you notice on this side it has places to snap in the floor mat. There's your accelerator and brake pedal. You notice the accelerator pivots at the bottom. And look at that huge footrest here on the left side. That's nice. It's a good angle. It feels good. You can check out my test drive video if you want a little bit more information on that. Okay, so let's take a look under the hood. To open the hood, there is a latch just a hair to the right of center. So there's your center line. You just reach in right there, move it to the left, and lift up. It doesn't take a lot of energy to lift it up. I mean, it feels like it's aluminum hood, and so you can lift it up fairly easy. You can see the latch right there in relationship to the emblem, almost in the very center. Now, it does require a prop to hold up. The prop is actually located on the underside of the hood here, and it swings down and goes right where that arrow is pointing. The underside of the hood there's no insulation or anything, so it's just metal. You do have a seal across the back, across the front, and about halfway on the sides. Insulated firewall as well with some heat shielding at the bottom. That's where the exhaust is. Battery is located here under the hood. Strut towers, you can see the strut towers here. They're actually braced in with the unibody structure of the vehicle for the most part. Has a small cover on top of the engine, but you can generally see most everything here. So under that small cover is a 2.5 liter dual overhead cam 4-cylinder engine with dual VVT. Now it pumps out 203 horsepower, but you have to be the engine has to be revving at 6,600 RPMs to get that 203 horsepower. And the same thing with the torque. It's 184 pound-feet of torque. Now it has to be 5,000 RPMs to get that. So it has to do a lot of revving in order to get those numbers. That's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. You can check out my test drive video showing off the power of this bad boy. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. All 4 power windows are automatic, one touch up and down. The dealer actually installed tint on this vehicle, so that's not factory. Then you have your door lock controls there. Your side mirrors are adjusted here. You just pick a side and adjust it with that little pad. And then you have 2 presets on your power seat. That's right. On the driver's side, they have to one up the passenger, so they go ahead and put the power seat in here. So it has up, down, and tilt and all that, as well as a power lumbar adjustment. And these are heated seats, by the way. Heated seats, heated steering wheel. To the left of the steering column here, you have your dimmer switch for your interior gauges. Automatic high beams, you can turn that on or off. This is awesome. This actually has a heater underneath the windshield wipers that you can turn on and release them when they're frozen. That's pretty cool. Heated steering wheel and the ability to open up the power liftgate. It also has a tilt and a telescoping steering column that you lock in place here. Okay, sitting in the driver's seat, checking it out. And I have the seat all the way back, all the way down, and I'm 6 feet tall. Just to give you an idea of the legroom, this is probably a little bit too far back, so I'd probably have to pull it up a little bit. And it might be my imagination, but it seems like this seat's a little bit higher than the manual seat in the base model. But you can see the legroom there is all good. So this has the leather wrap steering wheel, heated leather wrap steering wheel, soft to the touch, feels really nice. Good thickness, a little bit thicker than the base model steering wheel. Cruise control is here on the right side, and it has the adaptive cruise control. Once you turn it on, you can change your distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. You can also turn on the lane tracing here, and it'll actually follow the road. You just hold the steering wheel and it kind of steers on its own. It's pretty neat. You can check out my test drive video, kind of show that off a little bit. Now these buttons right here, kind of connected with these. This is part of your radio. So you have your volume for your radio, voice recognition, mode is your audio source, and then you can change to your tracks or radio stations or whatever you happen to be doing here. Over here, this is your Bluetooth control, so you can answer and hang up and all that once you have a phone paired. These buttons correspond with a screen between the gauges. We'll get to that in just a minute. Windshield wiper controls are over here on the right side. On the left side is your turn signal, of course, but it also has your headlights. So you have daytime running light off, automatic parking and then headlights. And your fog lights are controlled here. Okay, so looking at the gauges, you can see it has the black background, white lettering. You notice the letters contour to the shape of the dial there. So like that 140 miles per hour is kind of almost halfway upside down. Curious if the vehicle actually go 140. But anyways, so you have your RPMs here on the left side, engine coolant temperature, speedometer, fuel gauge, and in the center here it has a little bit more information. So you remember these buttons, we're going to go ahead and use those to get some more information. Right now it's showing the outside temperature, digital clock, digital speedometer, distance to empty, what gear you're in, and your trip. So, and also showing those lines there. Now, that's where your cruise control information will show up right there. So once you turn that information, I'm going to push in those buttons just so you can see what they do once you have them turned on. Okay, so using the buttons on the left side of the steering wheel, right now we're going to scroll down. Okay, so you can see those icons across the top. They just pop up there once we start moving around. So I can move left and right to go to each icon. And when we're on a specific icon, sometimes we can go up and down to get more information within that particular topic. So right now we can get some fuel economy information and stuff. To the right of that, this is your radar system and your lane tracing information there. So that way when you're You can see the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. And when you have it that far distance, it's pretty far away. You can check out my test drive video on that. Okay, so to the right, so this is your radio, whatever your radio is doing. And then this is your trip. And what I like about the trip is distance, but also your time. So that way you can keep track of that. And then your settings are right in here. Scroll to the right, any messages will be there. And then you scroll again, it'll go back to the digital speedometer, the first little leaf icon. Okay, so got a little bit of a glare here on the screen. With my eyes I can see it fine, but the camera sometimes makes it look worse. Okay, so you notice the screen is disconnected from the dash. Now I mentioned this before, and just to sum it up, the contour of the dash is disconnected from this, so that way this can be higher than the dash. So if this is enclosed in the dash, then the dash has to be higher, which obstructs your view, or the screen has to be lower, in which you have to look further away to see it. So just like your gauges, you want it close. You don't want your gauges down here somewhere. You want them close. So the same thing with this. You can have it up high. So especially with the navigation system, you're glancing at it, you can see it easier and without taking your eyes off the road so much. And also they can keep the dashboard down. So that's why it's kind of disconnected looking. Okay, so here's your touch screen, and you have some physical buttons here on the outside. It also has a physical volume and tune through the stations buttons there, and the rubber, really nice feeling. I don't remember that being on the base model, so it might be another rubber upgrade on this particular vehicle. It has like the handles here on the door. Okay, so the home screen. This is the home screen. Has a split between your miles per gallon and fuel economy information, phone, and your radio. You also have a digital clock here. So going into the menu here, we can choose audio, phone. So that's just like what we saw on the home screen. Apps, we'll go to that in just a second because I want to mention the projection. So right now they have Apple CarPlay capability, so you can plug in your cell phone if it's an iPhone, and you can have Apple CarPlay. Android Auto is not available yet. Probably going to be in the future. According to Toyota, they're having an issue with Google wanting too much of their customers' information, so they're not willing to give it up. So therefore, Android Auto is on hold right now until they hammer out an agreement. Okay, so, and then you have your settings in here. Apps. So this is where, go ahead and let it load up. This is probably the Intune system, so there's different apps, sort of like your cell phone. And they're kind of washed out right now, so you can see it has iHeartRadio and Yelp and different things. Now this may need data off of a cell phone, and I don't have one paired, so that might be what the issue is. Information, so you can check out your fuel economy and different information like that. There's your radio, have your presets there at the bottom. You can always shortcut to go to your audio source here, and you also have, you adjust your sound. And the same thing with the map here. Hasn't been able to get it loaded up yet, and it may have to do with the information off of the cell phone with the Intune app. Alright, so your four-way flashers are there. And the climate control, they have these big knobs. They have that rubber portion on them. Now the base model did have this rubber on these big knobs here, and they're really impressive. Feels like a tire tread. It's really neat. Okay, so it has dual zone climate control, driver and passenger. Fan speed, where you want the air to blow, recirculate the air, all that good stuff. Front and rear defrosters. So down here is your heated seat controls. It's 2-stage, high and low, for your driver and passenger seat. Traction control, you can turn that off here. Default will be on, but if you need to spin tires, you'll need to turn that off. There's a wireless charger down here. So this is actually rubberized. That's another rubber upgrade with this vehicle versus the base model. The base model, this was just hard plastic, so whatever you put in there is going to be sliding around all the time. But this one has the rubber floor, but it also has the wireless charger, so you put your cell phone in there and it charges. Now if you need to use the Apple CarPlay, you will need to plug it into the USB port here, and there's the auxiliary input behind that cover as well. 12-volt power supply is in there. Okay, so you have some more buttons. So electronic parking brake, and what I like about this, you can have it set to where when you put it in park, it'll automatically engage. You can engage it manually if you'd like, and you can disengage it manually. You just have to put your foot on the brake, push it down, and release it. And it has a clear light, so that way you can tell when it's engaged. And it locks down the rear wheels, so that's what it does. You also have the brake hold feature. I played around with that on the test drive, and you know, basically just holds the brake for you while you're sitting in traffic, and then when you push the accelerator, it'll go. So that way you can keep it in drive, and you don't have to you know, hold the brake the whole time. So you have your drive modes down here: Eco, Sport, and Normal. So Eco just kind of like shifts faster and it doesn't rev up so much. Sport just basically holds the RPMs higher, so you have more engine braking, but you also have, it keeps it closer to the power band of the engine. But either way, when you have it in normal, you can floor it and it'll kind of like seem like sport anyway, like if you're pushing the gas a lot. But this just kind of keeps it in a more ready state. And now it's going to consume more gas doing that, but that's just what it's designed to do. You have a little storage pocket here, and it's kind of small. I guess you put some change or whatever there. Here's your shifter. Let's go ahead and put it in reverse. I like the way that the shape of it looks pretty nice. Now, when you put it in reverse, two things will happen. The backup camera will pop up, but also your parking sensors will now be active. And it has active guidelines here on the screen. You can turn those on or off. You also have different views. So right now we have more of a linear view. We can go to a super wide view, so you can like see if any cars are coming, that kind of thing. Now it does have the blind spot monitor system. Speaking of cars coming, you see the little indicators there on the side mirrors. There's a little indicator there. I don't know if you can see that. But that'll let you know if there's a person in your blind spot while you're driving. And it'll illuminate. And it will flash if you put your signal in that particular direction. So there's one on each side. It also serves as your rear cross traffic alert as well. So if you're backing up and there's a car coming out of a parking spot, then it'll let you know as well. Alright, so we have neutral, drive, and then you can manually change to the gears, putting it in S mode, and you can basically downshift in case you need to, you know, some engine braking going downhill or something. There's your cup holders, and they have these little articulating arms to accommodate for different size cups, and it's open in the center. Okay, so the armrest here, rubbery, kind of rubbery, soft to the touch. It is definitely a lot more soft than the armrest on the doors there. And I like the way it has the stitching in the middle. It kind of serves as a property line for the passenger, because you know how the passenger wants to encroach and stick their elbow all in your way, and you can't. You know, this is really good. So that way you don't fight over the armrest. Okay, so this lifts up, and you have a storage compartment here with two more USB charge ports. It has this felt lining, kind of like a pool table type felt or whatever. But if this was a gray or a lighter color, I think that'd be better, so that way you can see in there a little bit better. Okay, the rear view mirror. Pretty high tech. It has an auto dim feature. You also have a camera back there. Isn't that cool? So as you're driving, the little camera is located in the back glass. You could keep an eye on everything behind you without all the passengers' hairdos and stuff getting in the way. You could directly see behind you. Now, if you just want a regular mirror, you still have that. So that's pretty cool. You also have the HomeLink garage door opener controls here. And on this side, you have a little menu system here that you can pop up and make selections as far as you know, the brightness and contrast and all that stuff. When you're in this mode, push that. Now you can turn on or off the auto dim feature using that menu system as well. You can also adjust the brightness. So it does have some additional features in both modes, whether you're in camera mode or in regular mode. There's a place to put some small sunglasses or reading glasses or something. You have tap lights on both sides. You can turn on all of the interior lights or have them turn on with the door. We're using that button. You have an emergency roadside assistance button. It's closed behind that cover so you don't accidentally push it. These are for your sunroof. We'll get to that in just a minute. You have a visor with a light. You also have a pull-out slide addition to it. Okay, so here's your sunroof, and the sunroof has a shade that covers up 100% of the light. Now you can move that back and you let some sun in. You can also move it back. Push it again, it goes a little bit further back for some reason. Alright, let's move it back forward. And then this other button over here tilts it up. Okay, so let's look at the visibility in the back. See, it does have significant pillars back there, but it does have a lot of glass, a lot of windows. And then the technology and all that helps out with your visibility. Now, it all depends on, one of the good things about the camera, the rear view mirror camera, is it doesn't matter about all the pillars. You can actually see behind the vehicle. So I think that's a pretty cool feature. I like the way it's optional, so if you're just not used to it, you can always have your standard rearview mirror. So that's pretty cool. Alright, there you have it. Thank you for watching, and thank you to Sparks Toyota here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. They provided the vehicle, so check out their link in the description, and I'll see you guys next time.